Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in for my fourth live stream. Today's the 5th of December 2021, obviously. It's 10:30 a.m. in the morning, Australian time. So I'm finding that this time is working the best for everyone around the world because most people can join in. If there are any other times you want me to work on, just let me know in the comments and I'll try and work around that as well. So guys, first and foremost, I want to say a big thank you to my members and Patreons. So C. Nile, Alan D. Kimber, Svetlana Puls, Milton Warren, and Anders Nilsson. Thank you very much, guys, for all your support. If you want to join my channel as a member, the link's in the description, or my Patreon link is in the description too if you want to support me there. So I'll let you guys know I'm streaming this on Instagram as well. And that brings me to one of the questions that I already got asked is from Phantom. How can you be at two places at once? So guys, I'm streaming the YouTube version off my laptop and the Instagram, guys, that's off my phone. So I've got two cameras going and one microphone to both. So some of you already sent through a few questions, so we'll start with that. But if anyone wants to ask any more questions, just add it into the chat. So El Sai says, "Hi Henry, thanks for doing another Q&A. Can you recommend a beginner's dish for youth or teenagers that they'd find doable and delicious?" Look, for beginners dishes and simple dishes, I always like to do sort of minced dishes. So, meatballs, meatloaf, anything like that. Look, everybody likes mince. It's easy to work with. It's easy to cook. You can't really go wrong. And it's very versatile. There's a lot of different things you can do. So I would recommend starting off with something like that before you start going on to like diced meats and things like that. But you can also do casseroles, slow cooked dishes. I am doing more slow cooker dishes now, so they're very easy to make. Just put everything into your crock pot and leave it there. That's all you need to do. So that's what I would recommend to start off. As for the slow cooker recipes, I am working on a few at the moment. I did one last night on pork ribs, so they'll be coming soon. If there's anything else you guys want to see, just let me know. Sunset says, "Do you use a pressure cooker or Instant Pot?" Look, I've used pressure cookers before in the past. I'm not the biggest fan of them. Like, for example, we used to cook lamb shanks here in a pressure cooker, and it takes something like 45 minutes. But when you actually serve it, it doesn't have any sort of, I don't even know what the word is. Like, it just looks like it's just been boiled, and it's just not attractive. So I prefer to never use pressure cookers for any reason whatsoever. If you do have to use a cooker, use a slow cooker. Always use a slow cooker. Stay away from pressure cookers. Sunset says also, "Can falafel be baked?" Yeah, falafel can definitely be baked. Personally, I prefer fried. Everything fried tastes better. When you bake it, it does go a bit dry, which I've tried in the past, and it also sometimes cracks. So you'll need to keep that in mind. Look, just fry it. Or you can part fry it, then part bake it if you prefer. Shiba Wasi says, "For beef Adana kebab, how much time to be taken to prepare on call?" Look, any sort of minced kebabs like that, they don't take too long to cook. You're talking about 5 to 10 minutes on a hot coal. That's all it takes. And Daniel Valanuga says, "Hey Henry." Hey Daniel, thanks for joining in. Okay, and another two questions I got was from Instagram. So Darren S says, "Do you prefer sweet or savory food?" Oh, sorry, sweet or sour food. I can go both ways. I don't mind either, but my go-to is always sweet. Anything sweet I'll eat. Anything sour, I'm always sort of 50-50 about, depending on what it is. But if it's something sweet, I'm always in the mood for something sweet. Next question, also from Instagram, was from Sal. He says, "How do you handle work stress in the kitchen?" Look, that's a very funny question. Now, I'm going to give you a good example, which was last night, actually. So we were fully booked in the restaurant. I had about 70 people booked. And I had 3 wait staff on. Now, one of them decided to resign yesterday in the morning, and the second one wasn't feeling well, so she wasn't able to come. So I only had one person. Now, I'm not really the type to go calling people and saying, "Look, I need to cancel your reservation." So we just had to go along with it. Funnily enough, it did work out well because all the bookings were there was a gap between them all. So I always try and leave gaps between every booking because if everyone comes at once, it's impossible to service them properly. So as for work stress, for example, last night, at one stage I just went outside and laughed at myself, So that's how I get my stress out. Other than that, look, there was a time I would go into the cool room and start punching boxes and start screaming and everything, and it gets it out. Look, it helps. But I try and, keep it professional. It's not right when your staff see that or when they see you throwing things around the kitchen and everything. So you got to really control that. Okay, so that was all the questions from Instagram. So let's go back into our YouTube ones. So the first question is from Herms. He says, "Hi, Henry, what's your favorite burger sauce?" Growing up in Australia, my favorite go-to sauce is always barbecue sauce. It used to be ketchup when I was a kid, but my go-to is always barbecue sauce, especially a good quality one. Now, in recent times, obviously the burger culture has really evolved here, and pretty much every joint has their own take on a different sauce they make. So I like to try new things. So if I go somewhere, I don't say, look, I only want barbecue sauce on this. Whatever the sauce is, I'll try it. Obviously, Big Mac sauce, for those of you not familiar, that's a McDonald's sauce. That's also one of my favorites. But yeah, barbecue is always my go-to. King K says, "What's the best way to make lamb tender, lamb sheesh?" So if you're cooking lamb sheesh, what you want to do is use meat that has a decent amount of fat in it. So don't use a lean cut. So whenever I'm doing my mince kebabs here, it's always an 80-20 ratio, 80% meat to 20% fat. And you want to grill at a high temperature. You don't want to slow cook it on a low candlelight temperature. It's got to be a very hot temperature so it cooks immediately. So you're talking less than 5 minutes. Sunset says, "Hi from upstate New York. Thank you for joining in." Benedict Santos says, "Good morning here in the Philippines. Avid fan here. Thank you very much for joining in." Victor Powell's thumbs up back to you. Talako Yulachti says, "Do you use vinewood for your kebabs?" So no, we use natural gas in the restaurant. If you're using any sort of open fire, coal fire, wood fire in a restaurant, the councils here aren't very fond of that, and most insurance companies won't cover you here. So it's very rare that any sort of decent restaurant will use coal or wood fire like that, obviously because of the fire risk. I'll give you a good example. So here, obviously, like I said, we use a gas fire, and I've done a video before on how I clean the ducting system. Now, we also do shishi in the restaurant, and we have to burn coal for that. There's no other way to do that. When I'm burning the coal, all those embers fly into that ductwork, and I'm always paranoid. And I'll look at every single one of those embers flying in there and thinking today's going to be the day it starts a fire. So you can imagine how paranoid I am, and that's why insurance companies don't like it. But if I'm cooking at home, yeah, I'll use charcoal. Mohabat Khan Malak says, "Hey, hello, Henry. How are you?" I'm doing good, thanks. Thanks for tuning in. Just another day. Toto Family says, "What cheese do you use for burek?" I always use feta cheese. That's one of my favorites to use. Mark Purvis says, "Hi, Henry. Would you consider figuring out the recipe for Toronto chili chicken?" Okay, I've never heard of that actually. So I'll write down a note here. Toronto chili chicken, and I'll look into that. Might actually ask my ex-girlfriend because she's from Toronto. Macduff's Cool Stuff says, "I use Wisconsin brick." And also, hi. Thank you very much for tuning in. I keep that in mind too. I'll check that out and see what it is. Okay. Sunset says, "What day is it there and time?" So it's Sunday, the 5th of December right now, and it's precisely 10:39 a.m. As you can see behind me, it looks more like sunny now, but it's actually raining today. So it's a very nice day. King K says, "What spices go into lamb shank?" Thanks from the UK. Look, it would really depend on what sort of country sort of variation you're going by. So in my case, in the one we serve here in the restaurants, it's a Persian lamb shank known as bagali polo. So we do turmeric, onion, a little bit of garlic, What else? Fenugreek. I put a bit of cinnamon, a bit of cardamom, a bit of cloves, and saffron. And I always put a touch of rose water in the water as well, just to give it a bit more of a sort of floral feel. And it's one of the most popular dishes here. So once again, it just goes by what country you're going from. Some will use heavier spices. Talako Ualahdi says, what wood do you prefer for at-home coals for kebabs? Look, so wood-wise, we use Australian ironbark. So in the pizza restaurant, that's what we'll use, Australian ironbark. So it's a hardwood, and it doesn't burn and disintegrate quickly. It lasts a long time. Mohabat Khan Malak says, I was wondering about your barbecue fire. Here in New Zealand, it's the same with the council rules. Sorry. Yeah, so I don't know if it's actually a state or a national thing or a local thing, because I know a lot of sort of councils around here, they allow that, but I'm assuming insurance companies wouldn't cover them. And these places happen to be very small sort of takeout restaurants. So I don't think they really care. So I think that's all it is. Like I said, I wouldn't take that risk. I mean, here insurance companies ask, do you deep fry? Do you use wok? So they go into very big details. So I just don't want to use that risk. Talako Ualahti says, thanks again. Greetings from San Jose, California. Thanks for tuning in. SA says, I've been eating at your restaurant for years and the food is amazing. Thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in again. Sunset says, do you take a vacation? Look, my last vacation was, what are we now? 2021. I think it was around 2015. So that's 6 years ago. That's when I went to LA and Las Vegas. So that was my last vacation. Look, life was easier back then. It wasn't so stressful. Look, right now, there's a massive shortage of labor in Australia. It's almost next to impossible to get staff. So in the past, I never had to advertise jobs on paid websites. I would just advertise on Gumtree, which is like a trading post, so it's free, Craigslist, things like that, or just Facebook. Easily get so many staff, and there was never an issue. Now it's next to impossible. I'm on about 4 or 5 different platforms, and I'm spending about $1,000 a month, and I only get about 1 applicant every 2 weeks. And look, it's useless. But what can you do? You just got to hang in there. So yeah, that's why I haven't taken a vacation anytime, and I don't think I'll take one anytime soon either. It's just impossible right now. Ali Jaffari says, huge fan and avid follower of your recipes. What's your favorite kebab and why? Look, before we actually opened the restaurant, my favorite was Persian kubi there. So I could eat that anytime, anywhere. But because I've had it for so long now and I make it every day, I've sort of gotten over it. Not saying I don't like it, but it's just not my first sort of favorite. My main favorite now would be Turkish Adana kebab. So it's got more of the spiciness to it. So I think it's just something different. I just prefer it now. But in saying that, I'll still eat kubi there now. And you see, I always try different things as well. But yeah. So either Turkish Adana or Persian kubi there, they are my favorites, right at the top. Benedict Santos says, by the way, big thank you for sharing your knowledge and recipes. Tried cooking your kebabs and my family really love it. Glad to hear that. Thank you very much. I know the kebabs are the most popular things on my channel, so that's why I'm trying to focus on that mostly. But as I said, I'm going to do some more slow cooker recipes. So pretty much for that, all you need is a crock pot or a very basic slow cooker. It'll do the job. And it's just something, look, you can put everything into it, leave it there, leave it on your bench top for like 8 hours, come back, and it's ready for you. So it's a very versatile thing. Mark Purvis says, my Tabrizi wife loves your Juja kebab recipe. Thank you very much. I'm glad she likes it. And it's pretty good always coming from a Persian that they like it. That means I'm doing something right. King K says, wish you all the best. You're our go-to, and we have made amazing dishes for our guests. Thank you for all your efforts. God bless you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. God bless you too. I'm glad your guests love it. I always want to bring out the inner chef in all of you. That's one of the reasons why I started my YouTube channel. I wanted to show you guys how you can be like me. Simple as that. Mahabat Khan Malak says, Kubida is nice. Texans do not know what they are missing. Look, I agree with that, but I'm not gonna lie. Texan food is also very nice. So it's something different. So I think that's the thing. Like we miss out on certain westernized dishes, but they come granted for us. Like kubide, for example. Growing up, we could have it all the time, but for the Western side, they probably have never had it and they are missing out. So yeah, I agree. Victor Powers says, make someday a Turkish doner kebab inside Turkish bread like they make in Berlin, Germany, please. Think you may be referring to pide. So I have done the Turkish doner kebab video. I've done two actually now because I did Turkish Iskender last week. And I've also done shawarma, which I'm pretty sure, I did chicken shawarma. So I still need to do a lamb one actually. Once I do that, I'll do a video on pide, definitely. It's just because there's more sort of components to it. I don't want to confuse people. But I'll definitely keep that in mind. Benedict Santos says, more power and continue to be a blessing to others. Thank you very much. Look, you guys are the ones that support me and keep me going. So without you, then I'd have no inspiration. I'd have no will to do any other videos. So keep those suggestions coming. Keep the support coming. I appreciate it all. It helps me out a lot. Okay, so I'll just go through some of these Instagram questions. So Illuminato STM says, please, please share your recipe for Afghan potato kurma. Are you familiar with it? Actually, I think someone mentioned that last week. Let me write a thing down here. Because I'm almost certain I made something like that, not recently, it would have been a while ago, because the name sounds very familiar. So I'll double check on that. So you guys are giving me another free suggestion so far. As for the next video that I'll be uploading, I have recorded a few different ones. I was thinking of putting the Australian meat pie recipe first. That's something very, very simple. Anybody can make it at home. It's sort of one of our national icons here in Australia. And after that, we'll probably do another kebab video, but keep those suggestions coming. Mohabat Khan Malak says, to Victor Powers, they make those doner in Dubai, Gulf, Lebanon as well. They are called shawarma. Yes, so that'll be the actual meat part, the kebab part. But I think he was mentioning about the pide, which is the Turkish bread that's stuffed with all the ingredients. So generally, it's like doner kebab with... I mean, you can do it any way you want. They put vegetables, cheese. There's some that are like spinach and feta. So in a way, it's similar to gozlem, but also obviously gozlem is nice and thin, where pide is thick. So it's like a Turkish bread. Who's next? King K. I think I've tried making everything on your channel. Wish one day to visit your restaurant. I'm glad you've done that. So I think we're up to about episode 525. So that's how many food-based videos I've made. That's not including any other live videos or any other bits and pieces like that. So yeah, it's crazy sometimes when I think about it. 525 videos. And 525 videos I've had to edit. The editing is what takes a lot of time, not the filming. If I could just film and upload, I could easily do one video every day. Farvid says, what are your hobbies? Look, obviously hobbies-wise, I do love cooking. I do love baking. Everything to do with sort of cooking like that, I do like. Outside of cooking, one of my biggest hobbies have always been car audio, actually. So, since I was a kid, since I got my first car audio was always very important to me. Still is now. Very, very important. Other than that, as you know, I do love doing do-it-yourself things around the home. Electrical, not so much plumbing. I really hate plumbing, but if it needs to be done, needs to be done. But electrical's always been my go-to. It was also always my passion. I always wanted to become an electrician when I was a kid. Unfortunately, I just didn't like the process to become one. So you have to work on a very, very low wage. I was getting about $7 an hour, and I had to pay for travel. So that didn't even cover that. and it's about a 4 or 5 year course. So it's just, I don't want to do that. It's a waste of time for me. But yeah, I still do it on the side. Mark Purvis says, hopefully you can try the Sultanahmet Köfteci's house in Old Istanbul. Okay, I'll definitely keep that in mind. Obviously, traveling is very hard right now. Herm says, since you like barbecue sauce with burgers, what do you like with meat pies or chicken burgers? Look, meat pies, you can't, it has to be tomato sauce or ketchup. There's no other way around it. In the video I made, obviously you'll see that's what I did too. I'm not saying barbecue sauce doesn't go with it. It does. But tomato sauce gives it a sort of tanginess, and it really works well. Chicken burgers. Look, chicken burgers are like more mayonnaise-based sauces. So aioli or like a spicy mayo, something like that. Peri-peri mayo, anything like that. I don't... Personally, tomato sauce and chicken burgers don't seem to go well. I don't know why. What else? Can't think of any other sauces at the moment, but yeah, that would be my go-to. Okay, so we'll go for our Instagram messages again. Okay, I've gone through all of them there. Actually, I had another one here. How often do you want to actually do your Q&As? Look, it would really depend. So I think, yeah, I've done it roughly about every 2 weeks so far. So it really depends on how many questions I get. You know, I like to interact with you guys too, just so you know, hey, I'm a real person. I'm not like a computer or something. I'm actually here, you know, conversing with you guys. I want to know what you guys think of my recipes. I want to know who you're cooking it for. I want to know how you're changing it up, everything like that. So I think the easiest way to do that is live stream, just so I can talk to you guys. I mean, I know a lot of you send me messages on Instagram, YouTube, comments, everything like that, but it doesn't have the same personable touch. So, I mean, at this stage, we'll do it every 2 weeks. If it gets really busy enough, I don't mind doing it every week. So we'll just see how we go with that. Sharon Roy says, hi, Henry. What are you planning to cook for Christmas? Would love dessert recipes for baklava and also pistachio cookies or anything you suggest. Thank you for your delicious cooking videos. Thank you very much for tuning in. I do remember you have been to my restaurant. Look, as an Armenian, our Christmas is always a little bit different to sort of the westernized Christmas. So our Christmas we celebrate on the 6th of January. And the dishes we have are completely different. So I was thinking about doing some recipes based on that, just so you guys see what it's like in our culture. But I'd also want to do more westernized videos too, because I'd want to also experience that too. So if you do have any sort of suggestions for that, do let me know, and I'll sort of work around that. I definitely do want to do more dessert recipes. As you know, I love baking. I will be closed for a few days over Christmas, so Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. So I might be able to record some videos on those days, or else I'll get bored sitting at home. You know, Norwest's open, so might as well keep me busy. So let me know. Sunset says, what is your favorite sweet dessert to buy? Look, it would really depend on my mood. So if it's sort of a cake, my go-to is always a really, really rich chocolate mud cake. Cheesecakes, I don't really mind. My favorite part of cheesecake is the base. So, I mean, I'm sort of cheating there. If it's like a very hot day, I will love to go for an ice cream, gelato, anything like that. So it really just depends on my mood. Obviously, I'm always at the restaurant. If I'm eating dessert here, you know, every now and then I'll just have a scoop of vanilla ice cream. It's the simple things, you know, you tend to forget. Okay, Robert Webster says, hey, Henry, love your videos. Have you got a full recipe? Yes, so I'll leave the full recipe for all my videos in the video description on YouTube. So if you click on there, ingredients and everything are there. Anthony Bukarim says, maybe I missed that, but where are you from originally? So I was originally born in Perth in Western Australia, so I'm 100% Aussie. But we are Armenian, so our culture is Armenian. Barskahai, to be precise, which is basically Persian influenced. That's why we have so much of the culture in the Armenian culture. Gary Goblin says, do you ever cook or do any recipes using charcoal? I don't think I've done any recipes at all using charcoal, for the obvious reason as because I'm doing it in the restaurant. Obviously, I don't want to start a fire. In saying that, I have been sort of going over some different ideas on how I can do recipes that you can cook at home. That's how I came up with the slow cooker idea. So that being the case, I might try and sort of switch it around so I can do recipes at home using like a small charcoal grill, just so it's easy for you guys. I know probably none of you have a commercial grill like mine, so I feel like it'll be easier like that. Sunset says, I'm Ukrainian in the USA. Our Orthodox Christmas is January 6th and 7th. Yeah, just like us. So we're Armenian Orthodox, but I'm pretty sure it's all sort of the same dates and everything. Basically, we're just going by the old calendar. Ali Jaffrey says, do you have any interest in smoking or outdoor barbecue videos? Lots of Western outdoor barbecue recipes and styles on YouTube, but not so much in Persian, Middle Eastern stuff. It would be great to see your take on that stuff. Yeah, actually, I have been considering that for a long time. So my brother has a smoke-off, so I was actually talking to him about, somehow doing that. So there's sort of things I'd prefer to do when I'm at home. Like, I don't want to bring a smoky into the restaurant and do it here. It just really wouldn't make sense. And, you got to do that for a long time. So I couldn't really put a smoker on the balcony. You know what I mean? There's just too many risks involved. So, yeah, definitely, if there's something specific you're thinking of, let me know. But I was thinking of doing sort of smoked lamb and chicken dishes. But let me know, whatever you think, and we'll work around that. Robert Webster says, sorry, Henry, I meant fowl with fava beans. No, that's not something I've had. I mean, I do like fava beans, but I've never actually tried fowl. Sharon Roy says, would love Armenian recipes, especially for your special Christmas dishes. But please make sure you rest and enjoy your break. I recall a post where you worked 100-hour week. We appreciate you. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, look, I'll definitely do the Armenian dishes. So just in case you guys are wondering, so we do sort of, we do like a fish. We do kuku sabzi, which is obviously Persian, but basically that's like an omelette made with fresh herbs. So it's a mix of like spinach, parsley, dill, coriander, chives, everything. Then we do chorek, which is like a bread, a weaved bread. And that's sort of the main sort of dishes. And we do other little bits and pieces. But the basic idea is not to have red meat. So that's why we've got the fish. And I know a lot of people do chicken now too, because I hate fish. I always skip out on it. Oh yeah, also 100-hour week. Yeah, so that's how crazy it's been lately. So look, you have no choice. You just got to hang in there. I think this week coming, I've done 120 when I calculated it. But what do? It's got to be done. That doesn't take into account the time. So I think there's like a duck or something outside. I don't know if you can hear that. Oh, in case you can't tell, there's a lake back there, so there's always ducks and things that hang out there. There was actually a lizard on the balcony before, so that's why I was a bit nervous before. I was a bit scared because I left the door open. I didn't want that to come in. Yeah, sorry, Sharon. So as I was saying, that doesn't take into account the time I spent outside of the restaurant working on the website, taking care of the reconciliation and things like that, dealing with social media. Those take up a lot of time. So, for example, yesterday I came here about 10 o'clock because I had a few things to do. And I was here. We finished around 11 o'clock last night. I got home, I only live local. And I didn't sleep till about 12 because I had to update the menus on Uber Eats and DoorDash. So those things take up a lot of time. And unfortunately, if you're going to outsource someone to do that for you, they're going to take a lot of money and it's just not worth it. Give you a perfect example. From day one, I had always done the websites myself because, like I said, I hate outsourcing. I hate paying people to do anything. A guy came along about a year ago and he offered us a website, or two websites, one for each restaurant, and basically it would be an ordering platform as well. Now, the way it would work is, what was it actually? We had to pay him $750 for each location, so that's $1,500, okay? And we had to pay, I think he mentioned about $200 a year for the actual hosting and domain name, all that sort of stuff, plus $50 a week for each restaurant for the maintenance. So I'm just going to calculate that right now. That's $1,500 once off. Add $400 a year for the actual hosting. Add another $400 a month. That's for both restaurants. So that's $4,000 a year. And the entire time I was thinking to myself, why am I paying this guy? And honestly, I was embarrassed by the website because it was so generic. And I could tell we were just being strung along, you know? So what I did is I just recreated the website myself. And I'm paying right now for the website. For the domain name, we're paying about $20 a year for the domain name. And I'm paying $200 a year for each restaurant. So I'm paying $400 a year instead of $4,000 a year. And I know some of you have logged onto my website. If you log onto either of our websites, you'll see the big difference. They actually work properly. They're unique because I've designed it myself. And I still have an ordering platform and I have an email platform and I can list things on there to sell. So if you guys are doing that, don't go paying people to do the website for you because they probably don't know what they're doing either. They're using something like WordPress to do a very cheap, generic website, and you think it's good, but it's not worth anything. So be careful of that. And so the whole reason I brought that up is, yeah, it takes a lot of time out of you, but I was pissed off spending $4,000 a year, and every single day I found an error on this website. So he'd written the wrong phone number, the wrong email address. He'd switched the restaurants around, so the wrong restaurant phone number was on the wrong one, and it's not worth it. Like, and every time I chase him up, oh, sorry, you know, it's not good enough. King K says, could you give a shout out to Chef Dings? He's a big fan. Let me write that down. I haven't heard of that, but yeah, I'll give you a shout out. Rahim Khan says, oh, sorry. Nadia M says, the omelette sounds lovely. Yeah, it actually is. I mean, I can't say it's boring. I mean, obviously it's just herbs, but it's actually pretty decent. I mean, I've had it every year since I was a kid, so it's all right. I do have a video of it on my channel if you guys want to check it out. Just type in Persian kuku sabzi. So K-U-K-U. Rahim Khan says, Ina, she's a great cook. Yeah, okay, so I'll definitely check that out. So I've just written it down here. Carol D says, just came on board. Thanks for doing this. Happy holidays to all around the world. Thank you for tuning in again. Glad to see you again. I would have said Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, but I think it's still a bit too early. We'll definitely have another live stream before then, hopefully. Physics Ariel says, had Garmir Pilav with the kids today. So Garmir Pilav, guys, basically translates to red rice in Armenian. So it's basically basmati rice cooked with meat and vegetables and tomato paste, so it turns red. I had this so much when I was growing up that I hate it now. So every time I hear the word or see it or anything, I just get sick of it. I haven't had it in a long time though, so maybe everything's changed and I'll appreciate it more now. But that's how it was growing up. Just had a message come through on Instagram. So DM050915. Hey Henry, just having dinner here in the States. Bulgogi, love your videos. Yes, so Korean bulgogi. I don't think I made that actually, did I? I had it about a year ago when I was doing sort of my training regime and I was trying to be healthy. Yes, very nice dish. As you know, I love all Asian dishes. So thank you for tuning in. And Rana Singh says, let's go, brother. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Mahabat Khan Malak says, is Armenian cooking more on herbs rather than spices, or you use both? Look, it's a bit of both, to be honest. I can't say it's one or the other. I know we use a lot more spices, so, you know, we're pretty heavy on cinnamon and cloves, cardamom, things like that. But, I mean, a lot of our recipes we use parsley, coriander, mint, so think it's a bit of both. I can't say it's one or the other, to be honest. We do use a lot of pomegranates though. Pomegranate paste, pomegranate itself. What else? A lot of apricots. So a lot of sweetness. Nadia M says, yay, will do. Thanks. Yeah, for the Kuku Sabzi video. Yeah, so definitely, yeah, check it out. It's very, very easy to make. There's nothing to it. You're pretty much just making an omelet, but with fresh herbs. Just the fresh herbs, you got to wash it and chop it and, keep it nice and fine. So that'll be the only hard part to it. But definitely check that out. I'll probably maybe do another video on it. I think the way I'll do a video is basically show everything we do, and then I'll just branch it out and do different videos on every dish. Sunset says, what is the difference between spicy and hot, and which do you prefer? Look, that's a thing. That's everyone has a different sort of take on it, because I know some people, when they say hot, they actually mean just the hot temperature, not the actual heat. Whereas spicy, some of them, they refer to how many spices are in it, not necessarily how chili it is. So the way I refer to it, if someone says I want something hot, I'll assume they just want it extra spicy. If they say they want something spicy, I'll assume they want it extra hot. So to me, the main meaning's the same. So I think that would really depend on where you're from. Everyone has a different sort of take on it. Look, I do like spicy dishes. Not too hot. So certain Indian dishes I don't like because it's too hot. Not because I don't like it, it's more my body doesn't like it. So it just makes me feel really sick. At the moment, I have to take medications for gastroesophageal reflux disease, and I have to be very careful about what I eat. So this particular medication I take, I skipped it for 2 days last week, and I was struggling to wake up in the morning. I could just feel here was just on fire. So I'm just very careful about spicy foods now. For some reason, chocolate's giving me the same effect. So I'm very careful about everything now until I figure out, if I'm going to get better with that or what's going on. Sharon Roy says, what are your favorite dishes? Do you enjoy others cooking for you, or do you prefer to cook? Look, I do like going out, for example, to restaurants and stuff. So I do like trying what other people have made for me. I know some of my stuff. One of my actual waitresses, actually, she loves to bake. And every now and then she'll bring me brownies and cookies and things like that. So, look, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to refuse if someone cooks me a dish, unless it's seafood, because I hate seafood. That's, but look, let's just say right now I'm hungry, right? I prefer someone else to cook for me rather than me cook. Because if I cook now, I feel like my day's already started. And we don't open tonight till about 5 o'clock. So it's just going to put me in a very bad mindset if I start cooking now. So I'll probably start my prep here in about 2 or 3 hours for tonight. I know we have a few bookings tonight. I just like to make sure everything's ready before we open up. I don't like to panic. But my favorite dishes, so obviously I love Asian food. So Chinese food is one of my favorites. From a cooking point of view, Italian food is actually my favorite to cook because there's so many different things that you can do, and you're sort of cooking everything to order. And, you got flames going everywhere, you got sound going everywhere, pans frying everywhere, and it's just exciting. So that's what it's like at our other restaurant, at the pizza restaurant. Whereas here at the Persian restaurant, we've got a very large grill. So pretty much all you're doing is cooking skewers non-stop. You got pots and pans going. You got a massive pot of rice going. You got a deep fryer going, chips and things like that. Everybody likes chips. So, yeah. I can't say which one I prefer cooking more. The way it is now, during the day, I'm at the Italian restaurant. At night, I'm at the Persian restaurant. So it gives me a bit of change of environment, different things I'm cooking. So it's always something different. So it's sort of exciting like that. Kelstar says, love your videos, and replies to the trolls on Google reviews. Thank you very much. Speaking of that, I had a customer call on Wednesday night, and they wanted to book a table here, and they said to my waitstaff, "We're only coming there because we want to see the guy that replies to all these trolls." So, look, for those of you that don't know, that's my strategy. I have no respect for Google reviews or Yelp reviews or TripAdvisor reviews. They're all parasites. Okay, that's how I feel. Because if you're gonna go out there and verbally bash a small business, but you'll go and support conglomerates like McDonald's, even though they screw up your order every time, there's no words to describe like how I feel about that. Like, it's actually disgusting. And I'm not saying that based on my restaurant, but when I see reviews for any small business restaurant like that, I truly get pissed off, even if they're my competitors, because it is just so low. It's just the lowest form of thing you can do. So in my case, I just give them a piece of my mind, because if someone's going to go out of their way to leave a review and one star and say, "I'm never coming back," or "I want my money back," things like that, they're not going to come back. So why would you go out of your way, bring down your everything, your confidence, your everything for that one person? It's just not worth it. So I always give them a piece of my mind. And if they really piss me off, I go all out. So what I'll do is I'll find out where they work and I'll leave bad reviews for their businesses. So I've done that a lot. The best one I did was about 2 years ago. This guy came in complaining about everything from the moment he walked in. You know, stupid things like, why are the chairs this color? What else did he say? Oh, why do you serve alcohol in your restaurant? So after he left, he went out of his way. Him, his wife, and his cousin left bad reviews for my restaurant. So I found out where he worked and I left a bad review for his business. And his employer actually called me, threatening me. And I said, "Look, I'm just returning the favor. And, you know, I'm a reasonable person. If he deletes the review, I'll delete the review for you. Simple as that." And he did. So a lot of the people that do leave the reviews, they're so entitled and they've probably been spoon-fed their entire life by their parents. That's why they do that. So until someone teaches them a lesson, they'll keep doing that. And that's why I do that. And I've had a lot of people coming because they want to meet me just for that. So look, those reviews are meaningless. If someone wants to try your restaurant, they're going to come in. They're not going to sit there going, "Oh no, all this." They don't care. So Victor Power says, "I moved from Ukraine to USA in 2000. And sorry. I moved from Ukraine to USA in 2000, and your parents from Armenia to Australia." No, my parents actually moved from Iran. Actually, from what I understand, they moved from Iran to London, then to Greece, then to Sydney, then to Perth, which is where I was born, and now we're back in Sydney. So a bit all over the place. So I was the only one in the family that was born here. So 1990 I was born, so 31 years. Gary Goblin says, "Gotta run, but you're inspiring. I can now skewer meat better than my Turkish buddy. Love your work." I'm glad it's helping. I mean, look, you would have seen some of the photos and videos I used to do back in the day when I first started. And, you know, I look at it now and I don't want to say I'm ashamed, but I kept practicing and trying, and that's how I got to where I am now. That's how I make them look beautiful. That's all I always say, guys. I do have a video on my channel on tips and tricks on how to do minced kebab skewers, but keep practicing. You'll get the hang of it. That's all it is. Who's next? Okay, Arsen Sakyan says, "Hi everyone, Barev says." Hello, Barev says. Physics Ariel says, "What's the dish called with brisket and celery?" Brisket and celery. I can't actually think of that right now. Brisket and celery. What else is in it? Just let me know. Maybe let me know what country it's from too, and I'll see if I can remember. Deadly0101 says, "Nice to see you, Henry. Hope you're well and your family. Thumbs up." Thank you very much. Yeah, we're all doing well. Can't complain. Same back at you. Hope you and your family are well. Physics Ariel says, "Abgusht." If that's what you're referring to as a dish before, abgusht is basically slow cooked lamb, and it's usually got potatoes, things like that in it, and it's also known as dizzy. So basically, that's like the lamb neck, lamb shank, things like that, and it's slow cooked with potatoes and chickpeas and things like that. And when you serve it, you sort of mash it all up and serve it separate to the soup. And if that's what you're referring to, I can't remember if there's celery in it or not. There could be actually. I do have a video on that on my channel. It's one of the earlier videos, but we'll still work the same way. So if you want to check that out, it's on the abgusht or dizzy. I just realized I haven't had my coffee today. That's why I'm so sleepy. Rahim Khan says, love your videos. By the way, you're an inspiration. Thank you very much. I'm glad you love them. And I'm glad I'm inspiring you guys to be the best you can. That's how I started off. Sunset says, Ukrainian here. Have you ever had borscht, which is the beetroot soup? So many variations. You know, funnily enough, that actually when I bought my slow cooker, I was thinking about ideas. And I remember someone brought up borscht a while ago, because actually Armenians have it as well. And I wrote down the ingredients because that's something I want to do actually. So I'll keep you guys posted. Stay tuned on that one. Rahim Khan says, Henry the hero. Thank you very much. I don't feel like that. KDST says, favorite Persian word. Big fan from Sweden. Favorite Persian word. Look, I think when like we have Persian customers and they want to come up to like the past to say thank you to me when they say damet garam, I think that's the nicest and most sort of warm word, and it makes me feel good. Translation to damet garam is basically, I hope your breath is warm. So a lot of Persian phrases are like that. They have a very long meaning, but it's basically saying thank you very much, but in a very, very warm, nice way. So I think that would be my favorite. Other than that, I mean, I do love Persian swear words, so I'm not going to say that. So if I have to use it, I'll use it. Will Hanley says, great values. Thank you very much. I'm glad. Arsen Sakyan says, Sweden, hi. I love your country. I think that's the KDST. I'm glad you guys are tuning in. Kelstar says, love it. Oh, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, keeps me entertained. Mehergan says, just a hand up. Waved right back at you. Sunset says, those bad reviews could be left by the competition. Look, generally they are. I mean, I don't want to say all the time they are. Some of the time you can tell, because there's one specific one that was left on TripAdvisor for my restaurant, where there's only one review from that account, and it just happens to me for me the day after they created their account. And when you actually read that review, he recommends try this specific restaurant, which is literally, there's a pathway, there's a bridge here. On the other side of that, there's an Indian restaurant there. He specifically says, try this restaurant. Now, why would you say that unless you own it and have some sort of investment there? So obviously, you can just tell. But like I said, I just don't care. They're just reviews are just entertainment for me. I just don't care. If there was no one walking into my restaurant, then I would care. But they do, so I don't care. Steve Campbell says, I should not be watching this. I'm getting hungry. The pot of collard greens I'm cooking doesn't sound as filling now. I'll let you guys know in a secret. So I'll be doing the Australian meat pie video probably tonight. I'll put that up, if not early tomorrow. So stay tuned for that one. Mohammad Khan Malak says, sorry, Henry, I am a polyglot with fluency in 10 languages. One of the languages is Farsi. I want to add 3 more at my age. Wow, that's pretty interesting. Let me know what languages. That's very impressive. The more languages you know, that's all power. KDST says brisket and celery can it be Koresh carafs? I was thinking about that too. Could may as well be in my restaurant. We do the carafs without the beef actually, so I'll do a vegan version of it just to keep the vegans and vegetarians happy. So for my carafs, we do with celery and potatoes. So potatoes are substituting the meat. Other than that, it has mint, parsley, lemon juice, salt, pepper, garlic, things like that. Arsen Sakian says Henry, you're in USA. No, Sydney, Australia. Arsen Sakian says, do you drink Henry's coffee? I don't have my own brand of coffee. I just drink normal coffee. Carol D says, try apple cider vinegar for your gastroesophageal reflux disease. A doctor told me years ago to take 1 spoonful when I have heartburn, and within 1 minute I got relief. Yeah, all right, I'll keep that in mind then. Yeah, I used to drink apple cider vinegar every day when I was doing ketosis. That stuff is amazing. I'm not getting paid to say that. That stuff is truly amazing. KDST says Zahramor is an all-time classic swear word in Persian, meaning snake poison. So brilliant. Yeah, I actually agree with that. It's actually very commonly used in Armenian as well. And yeah, it's just something so irrelevant, snake poison, but it really hits the spot when you say it. Where are we? Anthony Thomas says, after watching your videos, can't say I'm going to be visiting your restaurant. A UK, Australia flight, even if possible, might be considered a bit excessive for trying out an interesting meal. A pity. Yeah, I understand. Look, I've wanted to travel to the UK as well for a long time. It's not so much the expense of it that really gets to me. It's the travel time. For some reason, when I was a kid, I loved traveling on planes, but I hadn't traveled until I turned. How old was I? I was about 22 when we went to LA, and it was 10 years before that I last traveled. And it was about a 13-hour flight, direct flight, if I'm not mistaken. And I just wanted to jump out the plane. I could not handle the seat. Like, I could feel the pain all the way through my spine. And every time you go and stand up, the stewardess says, go sit down. And what do? Like, you just have to suffer. So that's the problem there. But look, hopefully one day I will travel. If I ever do travel to Australia, I'll call in. Definitely, look, I look forward to it. If I ever do travel to UK, I'll let you guys know if you guys want to do a meet and greet. Fitu says steak and cheese. Laugh out loud. Steak and cheese. So how would you have that though? Like, you can put that into a roll, make a steak and cheese sandwich. That'd be really nice. Amazing Chicken says, how do you cook sausages? I just fry them up. Nice and simple. Sunset says kefir is soothing for the stomach. Perhaps to try. I don't really like the flavor of kefir limes, actually. But I'll definitely keep that in mind and give it a try. Merhabat Khan Malak. So, yeah, I asked you what languages you can speak. So, English, Swahili, Urdu, Punjabi, Gujarati, Kisoga, Kidanda, Arabic, Farsi, and Hindi. Wow, that's very impressive, actually. Good on you. As I said, look, languages is power. The more you know. Herm says, any more update on your spice range? Yes, at the I'm in the process right now of working with a graphic designer to come up with a really nice label. So just in case you guys are wondering, I'm going to be launching my own range of spices. So all the basics, so red sumac, things like that, all the way up to actual seasoning mixes. For example, my Persian could be there, Turkish Adana. Basically, what will happen is you can mix that with your mince, and it's good to go. So I was hoping to launch that this year. I really don't think I'll be able to, with Christmas coming up, everywhere's not open. But I've got the recipes and everything worked out, and you've seen the recipes here on YouTube, but I'm just working with the graphic designer now. just in case you guys haven't seen, I have launched my website. So if you go to www.henryshowtos.com, basically that's my online shopping site. You can see a lot of the products I use there and you can buy them. So everything will be there. At the moment, I've launched what I have. So my saffron, the coffee we use, other little bits and pieces that you require for, Persian dishes, things like that. And I do shipping worldwide. So definitely check it out. If you have any questions, just message me on Instagram, message me on YouTube, or you can directly email me. And I'll help you guys out for that. But I'll keep you guys posted on when that launches. Mark Purvis, thanks for checking into Chinese chili chicken. How would I know if you ever find something on the recipe? By the way, get your coffee and good on you for dealing with these sham reviewers. Look, stay posted. Generally, when I come up with a new idea, I always put it on Instagram first. Basically, on Instagram, it's easier to converse with people, to get messages and so forth. On YouTube, they sometimes get lost because I get so many comments. So definitely follow me on Instagram. Definitely subscribe and turn on post notifications on YouTube, because if I'm uploading something on my YouTube comments wall, you'll get a notification like that. Reed Tucker says, how did apple cider vinegar help in your ketosis? Okay, so basically I went from drinking about 3, 4, or 5 cans of Coca-Cola a day to just water. I felt like I was missing out on something, some sort of sweetness, some sort of treat. And that's when someone put me onto apple cider vinegar. And there's one that actually comes from the States. I think it's the Bragg's brand, if I'm not mistaken. That's an all-natural one. They do one that's actually mixed with ginger spice, 100% sugar-free. Being sugar-free, that's good for ketosis. So I would have a bottle of that every day. So it's a mixed drink about as big as that bottle. Oh, not that big. Probably about that much. And I would have that every day. And I'll also have a teaspoon of raw apple cider every day. Apple cider vinegar, I should say, every day too. I found that it sort of sped up the ketosis process. So I was losing weight very, very quickly. But it also kept me sort of, it didn't let me have hunger pains and things like that. Because obviously I'd gone from something like, 5,000 calories a day till about 700. So it's a big difference, but that definitely helped. And in terms of what other people have said in forums, it does help. It is known to help. And it's just good for your well-being. Saeed Ahmed is next. Hi Henry, do you have any recipes for chai? I was in a Persian restaurant a long time ago and the milk tea was amazing. I tried so many recipes, but nothing has hit the spot yet. With chai, I actually did, we ran out of chai a couple of years ago and I actually did a very slow simmered recipe on it. I don't know if I uploaded it to YouTube though. So let me check that out and get back to you. If you want to check it out, just search on my channel for chai. I just can't remember if I uploaded it. I know I uploaded the photos to Instagram. I just can't remember if I did a video. KDST says, who is your biggest influence in terms of becoming a chef? So growing up, Jeff Jans, and Huey, they were very well-known chefs in Australia. And they, especially Jeff Jans, is what got me into loving to cook professionally. So that would be my inspiration for cooking from a young age. But as for now, I would say Gordon Ramsay, believe it or not. I know a lot of it is entertainment, it's all scripted, but just the way he got to where he is and the way he tries to bring out the best in his brigades in the restaurants, he's very genuine. So you can, all right, some of it is scripted, but you can tell some of it is just raw emotions from him. So he was my main inspiration. And still is. I still watch him now. Amazing Chicken says, how do you cook apple cider vinegar? So I don't cook it. I bought it raw, actually, so it's bottled. But there are a lot of recipes that I've used it in. For example, barbecue sauce, I use apple cider vinegar in that. Victor Powers, what coffee did I have in Australia? So we have a very, very big coffee culture here, based on espresso coffee, so Italian coffee. And look, we serve Turkish coffee here in the restaurant, but it's still not that well known here in the sort of Western population. I do have it on my menu, and a lot of Aussies and Westernized people come and they want to try it because they want to see what it is. And I always say, look, it's similar to Italian espresso coffee, so just a shot, but very strong. And that's all I can say, to be honest. And they try and they like it. Some say it's too strong, some love it, but yeah, Italian espresso is the big craze here. F2L says steak and cheese pie. Looking forward to your Aussie pie video. Oh yeah, I'll definitely go for steak and cheese pie. Definitely. So, we have a very, very big pie culture in Australia. Very big. Sharon Roy says, you're an inspiring entrepreneur, Henry. When the pandemic hit, how did you cope and what did you have to do differently? Is there anything you've learned that you would share with other entrepreneurs? Thank you very much for that comment. That means a lot. I try and share my knowledge with everyone else. Everyone can do what they want if they put their mind to it. So as for when the pandemic hit, how did we cope? Look, it was very, very interesting, I should say, because we would never assume anything would happen that we would have to close the dining room. So basically, when it first happened, we were first announced that we can't have customers inside. We can do takeaway only anymore. First thing we unfortunately had to do is, cut all the staff shifts. There was nothing we could do about that. Second thing we had to do is, clean up the dining room. Pack everything up. Because who knows how long it was going to last. Originally, they said 2 weeks, but that kept going forward and forward and forward. So obviously we could do takeaway only. Luckily, we were already on the Uber Eats, DoorDash, Menulog, all that stuff. So we're already on those platforms. The government here was trying to promote everyone to support their local restaurants but order directly from them. So they helped out a bit. The government gave out massive grants as well to help us out. Eventually, what they actually did was announce a JobKeeper sort of scheme where they would pay the staff wages. So when that happened, we were able to bring our staff back. Even though there was no one in the dining room, the idea was to keep everyone employed just so they didn't have to go on welfare. So that definitely helped out. With the grants, that helped out a lot. And we just had to really work on our social media presence and our online presence and Google ads and everything like that to try and get people to order from us. So it started off really bad, but then it got pretty busy in the end, very busy. Then when the second lockdown happened here, for some reason we got ridiculously busy where I couldn't cope actually. So I had to get extra staff in just to help. Mind you, there was no one in the dining room, but we were so busy with takeaways that we needed all that extra help. So if there's anything I've learned is, look, people will always try and bring you down. Reviewers will try and bring you down every day. At first, it used to piss me off so much. I would get so depressed. You don't realize what those words can do to you. They can bring you down. And eventually, I just started to ignore them. I know what I want to do. And if people are coming, obviously I'm doing something right. V2L says, also, would you recommend any Armenian Persian restaurants in Melbourne, which I was in Sydney? Yeah, there's one I would recommend that we have a close contact with. We help each other out. It's Hafez Persian Restaurant in Melbourne. Definitely check that out. If you go there, tell them I sent you. They'll love you for it. Will Boudic, hey, thanks for joining in. Zahtar on fried egg. Yeah, look, Zahtar goes with everything. Speaking of Zahtar, in regards to my spice range that I mentioned earlier, I will actually have a Zahtar blend as well. So that's, once again, I've done the video on it, but it will be blended on my specifications. So you guys can use that. But once again, I'll let you know when that comes. Sunset says, I'll make my own soda flavored seltzer with matched flavored tea. For example, cherry tea bags soaked in cherry or raspberry seltzer. Oh, that's interesting. At one stage, I was going to buy one of those soda stream machines, but I'm too lazy. Carol D says, if you have Bragg's apple cider vinegar, you can take the mother, add it to the organic juice, and make different flavored vinegars. It works really well with leftover wine. Okay, I'll definitely keep that in mind. We don't have the entire range of their stuff here in Australia, though. So when I first started taking it, I actually looked it up online. I saw they have a massive presence in the States. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have everything here. I mean, I can order online, but I don't really want to order glass jars. Definitely going to break. Kelstar says, apparently fenugreek supplements help with acid reflux. Also lowers cholesterol and makes your sweat smell like maple syrup. That's interesting. We use a lot of fenugreek in Persian cuisine. I know a lot of Turkish recipes call for fenugreek as well. So I'll definitely keep that in mind. I know it's very good for you. Reed Tucker says, what's your favorite Asian cuisine? My all-time go-to is Chinese, actually, and Cantonese. Other than that, I do love Japanese cuisine, based mainly for their techniques. I love the way they work and operate. It's very, very interesting to see Japanese chefs in action. But look, anything Asian I'll eat, as long as it's not seafood. So keep me away from seafood. Herm says, do you like chicken salt or normal salt with fries and chips? I notice on my trips overseas, us Aussies are the only ones that put chicken salt on fries. Yeah, look, funnily, chicken salt isn't big anywhere else. I think, except in UK it is. But obviously that's because we have such a connection with UK and Australia. But yeah, I love chicken salt. So chicken salt's another thing I'm going to actually do in my seasonings range. So if you guys want to try that, you can order a jar, and I'll mail that up to you, and you can try it. So it's basically a chicken-flavored salt, but it's healthier than normal salt for you. So definitely give that a try. I'll let you guys learn it when that comes. Alice Diaz says, Parev Henry. Parev, thanks for joining in. Carol D says you can buy a mother from Amazon. It comes in a plastic container. Oh. I'll write that down. So Amazon I'm good with. I love ordering from Amazon. The shipping's pretty fast here as well, which is very, very good. Okay, so Alice Diaz says, yeah, I never heard of using chicken salt on fries. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. Very interesting. So here, it's pretty much everywhere. Even McDonald's and Hungry Jack's, or Burger King, I should say, they all use chicken salt. Sharon Roy says, if you like Japanese cuisine, you may like Nobu in Sydney. Have you been? Went for the first time last time. Absolutely loved the whole experience. No, I personally haven't been there, actually. A lot of my friends have, and I've seen them post on Instagram and everything. And they have some beautiful dishes. Unfortunately, the issue is the time I finish work, it's impossible to go somewhere like that. So if I want to go out after work, it needs to be restaurants that are like late night restaurants. Okay, guys, so I guess we'll end this here. I just got one more question. Will Burdick have chicken salt made? So basically, it's from my understanding, they use the chicken fat and make a powder out of it, and they'll blend it with certain seasonings and spices, and that's how they make the chicken salt. So the flavor is sort of similar to chicken stock, like powdered chicken stock. Steve Campbell says, I like Indian food. They have good vegan options, but I'm not a fan of asafoetida. Let me write that down and check that out after. I'm not sure what that is. I keep it in a far corner of my kitchen. Okay, I'll definitely check that out. And Will Burdick says, okay, thanks. Yeah, so I'll keep you guys posted when I do mine on exactly what's in it. And yeah, like trust me, it'll be very popular. You guys will love it. Once you have it once, you'll always want it. You'll never go back to plain salt. It is completely different. Okay, guys, so thanks everyone for tuning in again. If you have any other questions, just let me know on Instagram or just comment on YouTube. I'll probably announce the next live stream tomorrow if possible. And I'll do it so it's just before Christmas if I can, just so I can keep you guys, happy and talk about everyone's Christmas plans, see what everyone's doing, if anyone's going to go on holidays anywhere. And we'll go from there. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning in, and I'll see you all soon. Thanks again.